but appearances can be deceiving. Brunelleschi uses the spina pesce pattern to create a dome that looks like an octagon, but is actually one continuous spiral.
So we're here looking at the corner of Massimo's dome, and what we can see behind the corners, we see the start of the bedding of the masonry, and as we go up we can see the bricks in the spina pesce pattern. And if you watch carefully, you can see that they start here and they wrap up around behind the corner and continue uninterrupted from one face of the dome to the other face of the dome.
By simply turning some bricks on their sides, Brunelleschi establishes a new pattern and achieves two important goals: preventing cracks from spreading and binding the 8 walls into one unified mass. The spiral form resists the forces of gravity more effectively than an 8-sided dome. For many, spina pesce is the secret of the dome. But the construction of the dome involved many secrets, something the American bricklayers have come to understand from their time with Massimo Ricci.
Look at that, there's one piece.
After 2 weeks on the job, they're ready to compare their work to the real thing. The interior dome is completely covered by a religious mural.
Wow.
The area between the shelves offers only glimpses of key elements.
This is a corner rib. See that? Yes. That would be an interior rib.
And plaster conceals all but a few patches of brickwork.
As you can still see, here's a good illustration. Spina pesce.
Oh, man, this is unbelievable.
That's pretty scary looking, isn't it?
It really is. You can't be complaining about anything over a little 1/5 scale while getting it off the ground anymore.
No.
Okay?
On the way down, the workers notice something that escapes all but the most experienced eye.
You see this, guys? See how this is coming up to the center, just like on the model? You see that?
Yeah.
Both of these, that's the horizontal arch right there.
The bricks are sloping down from the corner ribs toward the centers of the walls. The massive scale of the dome makes it difficult to see. But the Americans recognize its significance from Massimo Ricci. The important feature barely visible in Brunelleschi's dome becomes clear in Ricci's model. The tops of the walls don't follow a straight line as they go up. They dip from corner to corner. Within each wall, this creates an inverted arch, one of the most stable forms in architecture. These arches, combined with the spina pesce pattern, keep the bricks firmly in place, directing the weight of the masonry downward through the walls, preventing them from collapsing inward. It's an ingenious design, and Ricci struggled for years to figure out how Brunelleschi made it work, and how he ensured that the walls all met perfectly at the top, nearly 300 feet above the ground. Ricci was sure the answer lay in one of the primary building technologies of the time: rope lines, which Renaissance builders used to guide their work. If Ricci could figure out how Brunelleschi set up his ropes, he could unveil one of the dome's most overlooked secrets. He knew the guide ropes must have been attached to a large platform built into the base of the dome. But in what pattern?
I had to figure it out myself because Brunelleschi didn't write anything down and he didn't leave anything behind.
Ricci sketched out hundreds of possible designs, trying to unlock Brunelleschi's secret. Then he heard about a 600-year-old document stored in the Florentine State Archives. It's a drawing done on parchment about 5 years after work on the dome began. It's the only surviving eyewitness sketch of the dome's construction, and it's a scathing criticism of Brunelleschi's methods. The critic, named Giovanni Di Prato, detailed what he considered to be Brunelleschi's mistakes. The dome, he warned, was doomed to collapse.
Lo sta proprio
He's really tearing him apart. He's trying to tear apart Brunelleschi, but in effect, Giovanni da Prato wasn't able to understand much of what Brunelleschi was doing.
Giovanni di Gerardo da Prato non è riuscito a capire fino in fondo che cosa Brunelleschi stava facendo.
Di Prato may not have understood Brunelleschi's system, but he was thorough in his observations. He carefully sketched the rope lines Brunelleschi was using to guide the construction. More importantly for Ricci, Di Prato also drew the work platform to which the ropes were attached. Here, Ricci noticed something unusual, a thin line curving around the platform. To Ricci, it looked like a flower, and he immediately saw it as the key to Brunelleschi's system.
When I saw the platform with the flower drawn on it, I said, well, I'm at the right place.
Io dissi, ma allora visto, io sono a posto.
Ricci incorporated the flower into the work platform of his model, using it to guide each wall's construction. Rope lines are important building tools even today, and the Americans catch on quickly to Ricci's system. One worker stationed on the platform hooks a line to the flower. Another on the top of the wall handles the other end of the rope. The rope controls the angle and the height of the bricks.
Can you see now? Hey, can you hold that there for a second? Concentrate on this one right here that's moving. The one that Bob has a hold of, it sets the line up for that spina fixture. So it's essentially their guide.
And that's why the shape of the flower is so important. As the platform worker moves the line along the flower, the rope transfers the curve of the flower to the wall. This creates the inverted arch. The walls may be strong, but for the dome to work, they must meet together at the top. One small miscalculation, repeated hundreds of thousands of times, would lead to disaster.
Here's the angle as you go up. So you should follow that all the way up. But say if this was not correct, as you get that dome closing up to the top, it's not going to want to hit in the middle. So you might, the dome might be this way, or it might be this way.
How could Brunelleschi know his dome was on the right track? The answer is in the lines. Crisscrossing from wall to wall, they establish the center point. And before any rope line guides a brick into place, it must pass through. Brick by brick, the walls of Brunelleschi's dome rise until they meet at the top, nearly 300 feet in the sky, and the dome is complete. For Ricci, the ropes guiding the bricks provide the real key to the mystery of the dome.
E quindi
I can say with the utmost certainty, this is the true secret of Santa Maria del Fiore.
essere il vero segreto di Santa Maria del Fiore.
After 2 weeks of working on Ricci's dome, the Americans seemed convinced by his experiment.
This must be the way they have done it. Without putting a support underneath there, this would be the only way that it made sense.
This is the flower, and it's the herringbone pattern. Those are the two things that solve the puzzle. You wouldn't be able to build a dome like that without those control measures.
Massimo Ricci has now been working on his dome longer than it took Brunelleschi to build the original. His model will remain an open laboratory for those studying Brunelleschi's method, and as an argument for the importance of the flower. It's possible that Ricci, unlike his hero, will never see his work finished.
And if you look at the dates of the building, 1420 to 1436, 16 years. That's the blink of an eye. That's very, very quick. And it's wonderful to think that he saw it completed. He was able to look at it. He was able to walk past the building and think to himself, I built that, I did that.
With the dome, Florence moves into an entirely different dimension. The dome becomes the hub of a new city, of a new world. It is the expression of a self-confidence that no longer knows limits. People need works that can speak to them of their own capacity to dream. Brunelleschi's dome is perhaps the biggest of those works in the history of world art.
But appearances